Hi everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with Rubber Stamp Tapestry, and we are going to use the Greetings from Kansas peg stamp set. And we are going to create a slimline card. I'm getting addicted to those. So you can see this peg stamp set has 4 pegs in it, creating sunflowers and the leaves in different sizes. So I pulled out my Concord and Ninth inks, loving the color palette of those, and I also grabbed my favorite things, English brick stencil, and I'm using wheat, and I'm using my makeup brushes just to create a background there. If you don't have stamps, background stamps, stencils are a good alternative, along with embossing folders, instead of having that big stamp. If you don't want to get those or anything else like that. They just add a little bit of texture and dimension in the background. I'm going to set that piece aside, and now I just have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 cardstock. And now I'm just going to start stamping. As when others use these peg stamps, I do start with the largest one and then work my way down with the leaves being last. So you can see I have buttercup, I have grapefruit, eggplant, sprout, and parsley for the colors that I'm going to use. Eggplant is absolutely gorgeous. But I do like the color of eggplant anyway. Love the deep purple. So now that I've taken care of the larger stamps, now I'm going to come in with the smaller ones and just fill in. And I did just want to have these 3 colors for the flowers that I did stamp. I think with the greens that are going to come in, that'll help pull them out. You can see I'm also creating clusters. So there's 5 clusters that I'm kind of forming when it comes to this piece, because they will be cut out when all's said and done, and you'll see that in a minute. So now I'm using both of the inks. I'm going directly onto the sprout, and then I'm just rocking through the parsley just to get some shading. And then finally, I'm just going to come in with the parsley alone. Now remember, you have that registration line, and that registration line on the peg itself will tell you which way the stamp will go down onto your cardstock. So especially for this, you really want to know where that line is, just to know where your image is going to end up on your piece. I'm going to grab some ground espresso, just put a little bit down onto my palette there, add a little bit of water, and then grab a paintbrush, and I'm going to use that to go into the centers of my flowers, very non-precisely. I want it to just look like there's splatters in there, just to fill in, just to give a little bit of depth to each of those flowers as well. And you can see some of them get lighter, some of them are darker, and I will use my heat tool to make sure that they are set. Once they are dry, I'm grabbing the sprout, and I'm going to do some ink splashes all around that as well. I'm going to use my heat tool again just to get those set so that I don't smear them, because of course I would. Absolutely. Once that's dry, I'm going to pull in the Rectangle Window Trio by Honeybee. And this is going to cut 3 rectangles, of course. Now, what's great with these dies is there is a stitch border around the outside, but again, that that's on the outside. So I just want those rectangles. They won't have any stitching on them. I'm going to use my low tack washi tape to cut them out, and then I'm going to set them down onto some brown cardstock. Excuse me. And then I'm just going to use my scissors to cut them out. And again, not looking for it to be precise. Again, handmade card. We can have some fun. And you can see with my long shears, I'm able to just use one cut to go around those edges. So now I'm going to play around with the placement and put them where I placed my stencil image there. I did use my double-sided foam squares to prop them up. And now I have two mats coming in. So I'm going to place this down onto the first mat, which is like a deep coral color. And then I'm going to place this down onto a deep purple, which will help pull those flowers out. I will place this down onto my Slimline standard card base, which is 3.5 by 8.5. So you would cut it by 7 by 8.5 and then score it at 3.5 along the 7-inch side. My favorite die is the Pink and Main Hello dies. You have the shadow or the cloud, and then you have this beautiful script of hello. I did die cut that 5 times just to get some dimension, and that perfectly sits right in between the two bottom images there. And I'm going to make sure that's in place. And I used my sparkle pen and my glossy accents for the sentiment. So I do hope you enjoyed today's project using the Greetings from Kansas peg stamp set. There are so many things that you can do with these. You can have a lot of fun with them. As always, all the products that I used will be listed down below, and if you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe, be a part of my group here, and make sure you ring the bell so that you know when the next video is live and ready for you to watch. I want to say thank you to everyone for taking time today to watch the video. And again, I do really hope that you enjoyed it and maybe got some tips and tricks along the way. Everyone, please continue to stay safe and healthy as we continue through our challenge that everyone is facing. But always remember what is also most important to me as well. And maybe it'll help get you through this. Even if it's just for a little bit. Always be creative. Till next time, guys.